Hey gang, welcome back to what is part 3 in the current Viewers Project series. We had part 1 and part 2 from Don talking about his 66 Mustang known as Betsy. It's been some great information, and this video will be the conclusion of that, which includes some more information about the car, some cool stuff he's done to it, a startup, and some future plans. Don, let's wrap it up.
People that don't know get in the car and say, oh my gosh, this is a Cobra Mustang. Yeah. Oh, well, whatever. I was young and it was cool. I took my 3-speed knob and chucked it up in a lathe and turned a little hole in it. And that's actually a Toyota Celica shift pattern. Fits right in there and is the same shift pattern as the T5. So I needed to do that or the wife wouldn't be able to find a gear. 302, board 30 over. I cut out the core support so it would take a 70 radiator, which is the same height but is wider. It's 3 cores thick. It has a 67 289 Mustang with air conditioning shroud on it and a 7-blade clutch, thermostatic clutch fan. Took a lot of calibrating to get that right, but it's really good. 60 amp alternator instead of a 30 amp. My battery apron underneath the battery there has a hole in it, so I'll be replacing the apron. It's just the way it is. You can see that with the larger radiator, I had to modify the hold down over here, but it's worth it for the cooling. This thing does not overheat. I have a temporary master cylinder in here. When I did the brakes here just recently, I had to rebuild the proportioning valve down there, and my master cylinder was too far gone, but one of the things I wanted to do was try a 7/8 master cylinder instead of the 15/16 that comes stock. This master cylinder here has a pretty small reservoir on it, but it's a 7/8 and it only costs $40. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to put that on there and see if I like the fact that the pedal travels a bit further, but the pressure to the brakes goes up. So I have better mechanical brakes. And so far, I really like it. This hood scoop actually works. This flapper valve here is off a 1969 428 Cobra Fairlane. So this is the Ram Air. You'll notice it's got a different looking piston in there, and that's one I had to make because the regular pistons gave it up. There's a whole engineering thing I did on that that makes it work really good. I can go through that with you too. But you know, I was talking about being able to drive the car in the winter, and this here, see this little heat tube right there and the little tin heater box that goes over the manifold makes all the difference in the world heating up the air cleaner in the winter. This valve here closes. And the other cool thing about this scoop was between the scoop and the flapper, 0.2 of a second in a quarter mile. That's what the improvement was. I'm doing a full suspension rebuild on it. I have a lathe over here, and what I plan to do is turn the upper control arm bushings and convert it over to Delrin bushings. And I just plan on machining all my own stuff. Delrin bushings on the spring perch, on the upper control arm. I'm going to leave the rubber one in the lower control arm because that arm has to articulate. It has to drop and twist. And the only way it's going to do that is with either a aircraft type gimbal joint there, or with the rubber. I'm going to do the arning drop, only I'm taking it down 1.25 inches. I'm relocating my Zerk fittings so that they can be gotten at. I'm also going to cut and weld the upper control arm to change the angle of the ball joint, because right now the control arm has an angle like this, and it's meant to sit in the car kind of like this, and when you do the drop, it can take the ball joint past its limit and break the ball joint. So I'm going to cut and weld the control arm straight. I'm going to move the ball joint towards the rear of the car as far as practical to gain caster. And I'm also going to thread the strut rod, or buy one of them, I don't know yet, whichever works, so that I can also, when the upper ball joint moves aft, the tire's not going to be in the center of the curve anymore, so I need to be able to move ball joint backwards, and the lower arm needs to go forwards to put the wheel back in the proper place. So I plan to do all of that. I already have the new springs, 600 pound per inch springs in the front. It's been sitting on them now for a while. Within the first week, the car settled about 3/8 of an inch. I can then cut the springs to set the stance on the car. It is sitting 1.5 inches taller right now than it did before. If you can find these anywhere, these windshield wipers that have the wing on them, you don't have to worry about the wind blowing the wiper off the windshield when you're doing 70 miles an hour in the rain. Because, you know, it rains a lot in Oregon. Did I mention it rains a lot? I think I did. The car has, let's see if you can see this, but for my suspension, I'm running traction bars. That is how I am taking care of wheel hop, and have since I bought the car. Now you can see where the, let's see if you can see that. You can see where the rust, you know, this is the rusty floor underneath, which has, right where my foot is. You know, it's solid back here, where the seat bolts, but right where my foot is under the gas pedal, it is rotted out pretty good. You can also see that it looks wet under here, and that's because my master cylinder started leaking. Let's see. There's the little short glass packs right behind the transmission, and the turbo mufflers right there. You can see that my plugs that normally plug the floorboard right here that keeps the water out, they have just rotted and fallen out. So I'm going to have to get some new ones of those. Over here, a 6-cylinder runs the fuel line over here inside where the drive line runs. It's a smaller fuel line, and they do it because it can be shorter. So naturally they're saving money. On the GTs anyway, they run it out here next to the pinch weld, and there's a bracket that covers it right there. I got all of that off that GT car. Okay, so there you are, Barry. That is the story. You can see how much work I have to do. One thing I was going to show you, I didn't do this when I had it. You can see that there's rust right here. Let me grab the camera real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. See, you can see the rust right there. So that seam has started to let go, and water can get inside. So I'm expecting that I'm going to have to do floorboards on the right side of the car too. Okay, so engine startup. Take one. So this is a cold motor. love that little whine that comes out of that fan clutch. That's really the Cobra Jet sound, is when that fan clutch gives way and starts freewheeling. I worked pretty hard on getting that exhaust note to sound like that. There were, these things, exhaust systems tend to blat. One of the things that I did on this motor was installed, the exhaust manifolds came out of a 1970 Galaxy. Here is a spare that I have right here. It's kind of like a 289 Hypo, except that it's bigger. The ports are bigger on this side, and it's a 2 1/4 inch outlet for the pipe. So as exhaust manifolds go, they flow pretty well. In fact, when I'm running a full exhaust system, there's no difference in the 1/4 mile time between headers and these. So I just went with the exhaust manifolds. That solved a bunch of issues. The headers tend to cook the starter, so every 1.5 to 2 years the starter would fail and I'd have to get in there and yard that starter out. Okay, so one of the things I was going to show you was, for some of you, if you need parts or something, I do have a few things available. Here's a rare piece. I won't be using this, but this has Ford part number on it, DOAA 7E046-C. This is an original factory Ford mounting plate for a Hurst shifter on a top loader 4-speed. So if you're doing a concourse correct car, you may need one of these. You can use a standard Hurst shifter, and if you have one of these plates, then you get the extra points. Shifters. I have 2 shifters. These are standard Ford top loader shifters. This one here with this bracket, this is for Fairlane with the Ford mounted shifter. And you'll notice that it's a tall handle. Well, you can see it here. It's got a tall handle for the forward shift position because it's got to get over a bench seat possibly. This one, I don't have a handle for it, but this is a must. Well, the backup light switch is there, but the wires are broken off. This is a standard Ford top loader for a Mustang. See, and it's just got the 3 mounting points for the top loader in the Mustang. And now over here, I've got standard boot chrome. Now this is part number C4ZB7262-C. So there's the original Ford chrome trim in really good condition that goes around the shift boot. And my car had this in it when I got it, but it was under the console, and when I shift it would click. And so I don't need this chrome thing underneath the console because it's got its own bezel that goes around the boot. I've got a couple of these. This particular cross shaft, this is the exact same one I have in my car, and I'm running a 3,200 pound clutch with this, and it's doing fine. The only thing that I think I did on mine was I shortened this arm. I think I just put a hoop-de-doo in it. I'd have to go under and look. But I just bent a little hoop-de-doo in it to shorten the lever here so that the 3,200 pound clutch was easier to push in. Just changing the mechanical advantage. I've got, complete with crummy looking air filter, but the original air cleaner says Mustang Sprint 200. This was the chrome, the original Ford chrome air cleaner that came on my 6-cylinder. I don't know how easy those are to find, but hey, if you need one, I got one. Oh, I'm going to show you this too. So here's that rotor I was talking about. You can see how the rotor is held on by the studs, and the hub, you just replace the rotor part, but the hub stays. And I found these discs so that I can go back to my original equipment hubs. I have optimism going on my side because I haven't torn it apart yet. And we all know what happens when you think, oh, I'll just do so-and-so. And then you tear into it and you realize that I have to pull the cowl and do that whole thing. You know, I may end up there. I don't know yet. So I'll do another video after I have disassembled the car and seen what it is I have to do. You know, how much work there is going to be involved in this. Anyway, keep plugging away. Before I tore it apart, I decided to work on this car, get the brakes going, and because I had actually parked it for about, I was remodeling the kitchen, and I needed the garage for building kitchen cabinets and stuff. So I parked the car over at my brother's house for 2 years in Central Oregon. Fairly dry, but you know, I had to kind of keep the mice at bay and stuff like that. That's the first time the car's been like out of my sight since I've owned it. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you, I'll be on the live streams, the Joe Daddy live streams. I sort of attended my first one last week. Good luck and happy stanging.
Okay, drivers, get near the 6 o'clock hour.
Oh, you heard that.
Actually, nobody loses tonight. Friday nights, grudge racing till probably about the 8:30. So once again, drivers in lanes 6 to 11.
Yeah, we just had an awesome race. Smoked the guy on my birthday. All right.
Was it exciting?
Yeah. Next time, John's gonna let me drive, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I want that car.
With trailer, of course. You got a cool 50 grand.
That car. There we go. That is just right there. That is the dream car. Ripped out Mercedes. Nice 6-second car. 10-second car for my birthday.
You have a 10-second car for your birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
I just, you know, we haven't decided which birthday it'll be.
Oh God, here we go.
Yep, here we go.
I don't know how zoomed in I should be. Should I zoom out a little bit?
Here we go.
I don't know. There he goes. Oh my goodness! I think this is the guy we raced. This Ford right here. 12-second car. That's all right though. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. Because he'll be 2 seconds behind us.
Listen to the sound of that.
You too could own a car like that.
There's the lights.
There it is. Too deep. I got there first.
Whoop. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
We're gonna get him. Check you later. Oh yeah.
It was a good run, but I probably turned out.
Oh, that felt good, didn't
Boy, did
that?
you hear the tranny grind?
Yes.
Power shifted. That's something I was not going to do.
Yep. All right, we gotta find out how we did.
Yeah, you never know because you're going past the... Thank you. Here you are.
What are the results? Bye, everybody.
Because I don't think they're letting anybody come around again, or are they?
No.
No.
Bye, racetrack.
Nothing to do. We got nothing to put away. That's one nice thing about not getting the car ready for racing. Is that there's nothing to do when it's time to go home.
Thank you for taking me drag racing.
You are welcome. Happy birthday.
That was a great birthday present. That's one of the best birthday presents I've ever gotten in my life.
Really? And it only cost $40. That's and the fun part is, it's the first birthday present I've ever gotten for you that was probably more fun for me than you.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. That was pretty awesome. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
I think this series is so cool. You know, Don has shared information on his car that he's had, I believe, since 1971 is what he had said. And out of that period of time, as he said, it's only been out of his sight for 2 years, and that was at his brother's place. I like what he's done to it. You know, at the time, building that car and taking parts from other cars and putting it together the way he wanted, different engine modifications, I think it's just fantastic. And I know he's got some future plans because he's got some rust issues and he wants to modify the suspension and do different things. I think that's fantastic. He's still wrenching on this car after all this time. And I'm looking forward to future updates from Don. Now as well, he did mention that he has some parts that he'd probably sell. I guess we'd have to get an email or something from Don at some point and see what we can do about that if you're interested. And he said that he's been on the live streams, and he has. He's answered some questions and shared some pictures as well. So we're looking forward to more information from Don in the future. Now, as I said before, if you want to be part of this program, if you want to showcase your car on my channel, send me an email, and we'll go back and forth, share information, and see if we can't put something together. The next video in this series will be from Len Ekema, so look forward to sharing that soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And, leave a comment, thumbs up, share the video, all those things that help this channel grow. Until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.